My name is Mia. I am 25 years old. I want to tell you about my first love. It is not a happy story, but it is real. It still lives inside me like a soft scar that never fully goes away. I met him when I was 19. His name was Adam. I had just started college. I lived with my aunt in a small town. I was shy and quiet. I liked books and long walks. I had never kissed a boy before. I had never even held a boy's hand. Then Adam came into my life like a warm light. It was a cold morning. I was in the library. I dropped my pen and someone picked it up. I turned and saw a young man with kind eyes. He smiled and said, "You dropped this." That was the first time I saw Adam. He had soft brown hair and a calm voice. He was 1 year older than me. He studied history. I studied literature. We started talking at first just a little, then more. Then every day he met me in the library almost every morning. He brought me coffee sometimes. I learned he liked old movies and quiet music. I liked those things too. Webbeth loved the sound of rain. We both liked to sit and read in silence. It felt like we were made for each other. My heart felt full when I saw him. My face got warm when he smiled at me. I started to wait for his messages. I started to look at my phone every few minutes. He made me feel special. One day he asked if I wanted to go to the lake on Saturday. I said yes. We took the bus together. We walked beside the water. We talked for hours. He told me about his childhood. He told me his father died when he was 12. I listened quietly. I told him my mother was sick when I was in high school. He touched my hand gently and said, "You are strong." That was the first time he touched me. My heart jumped. I didn't want that day to end. After that, we were together almost every day. He became my boyfriend. I couldn't believe it. He called me his girl. He kissed me in the rain. He waited for me after class. We watched movies together. He brought me flowers. He remembered my favorite color. He even met my aunt. She liked him. Everyone did. He had a warm smile and a kind soul. I fell in love with him slowly but fully. I gave him my heart. I thought he would take care of it. For 6 months, I felt like I was living inside a movie. He told me I was beautiful. He told me he never felt like this before. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? He looked at me like I was his whole world. I thought we would stay together forever. I dreamed of our life after college. I even imagined our wedding. I was young. I was in love. I thought love meant forever, but things changed. Not suddenly, slowly. Like when a flower starts to close after sunset, he stopped calling me every night. He didn't meet me in the library anymore. He said he was busy. He said he had exams. I said, okay. I waited, but my heart started to worry. My messages stayed unread. My calls went unanswered. I felt the space between us grow. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to lose him. I told myself maybe it was just stress. One Friday night, I went to a party. My friend Sarah begged me to come. I didn't want to go. I didn't like parties. But something inside me said I needed to. Maybe I hoped to see him there. Maybe I just wanted to forget how sad I felt. When I walked into the room, I saw him right away. He was with a girl. She had long red hair. She laughed and touched his arm. He smiled at her, a smile I once knew. I stood there for a long time. I couldn't move. My feet felt like stone. My chest felt tight. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I turned around and left. I walked all the way home. Tears ran down my face. My heart broke with every step. The next day, I asked Adam to meet me. He said, okay. We sat on a bench in the park, the same park where he once kissed me. He looked tired. He didn't look at me. I asked him, "Do you still love me?" He was quiet. Then he said, "I don't know." My hands began to shake. I asked, "Who is she?" He said, "Her name is Lily. We met in class." I asked, "Are you with her?" Hess said, "Yes," just like that. Like it was nothing. I asked, "Why didn't you tell me?" He said, "I didn't want to hurt you." I laughed. It was a cold laugh. "Y'all ready?" "Did," I said. I wanted to cry, but I didn't. Not there. not in front of him. I said, "You were my first love." He looked away. "I'm sorry," he whispered. I stood up and walked away. I didn't look back. That night, I cried. I cried until my pillow was wet. I cried until I couldn't anymore. I looked at our photos. I deleted them one by one. My heart hurt. My chest hurt. Everything inside me hurt. But I knew I had to let him go. The days after were hard. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I missed him so much. But I also felt angry. He chose someone else. He moved on while I still waited. I felt like a fool. My friends tried to help. They brought me food. They sat with me. They made me laugh a little. Slowly, I started to feel stronger. I started walking in the evenings. I listened to music. I wrote in my journal. I went back to the library. At first, everything reminded me of him. The chair he liked, the book he touched. But day by day, the pain became smaller. One afternoon, I saw him on the street. He was alone. He saw me too. For a second, we both stopped. He gave a small wave. I didn't wave back. I turned and kept walking. My heart didn't hurt. It felt calm. I knew I was healing. Adam was my first love. He showed me how sweet love can be. He also showed me how much it can hurt. I still think of him sometimes, but not with pain. I think of him with peace. Before I share the rest of my story, I need to know, where are you listening from? Knowing someone hears me, understands me, gives me strength. The weeks after I saw Adam on the street were quiet. My life changed. Before I waited for his text, now I turned off my phone at night. I used to cry in bed. Now I closed my eyes and dreamed of a different life, a peaceful life, a life without him. I started to enjoy my walks again. The trees looked greener. The sky felt bigger. I began reading new books. I listened to soft music and sat by the window in the evenings. My heart still felt heavy sometimes, but not like before. I was learning to live with the pain as Sarah, my best friend, stayed close. To me, she invited me to small dinners. She came over and brought ice cream. She made me laugh with silly jokes. One evening she said, "You're getting better." I smiled. "I think I am," I said. It was true. I felt different. I felt stronger. One day at the library, I saw a flyer. It said, "Poetry night. Read your own work." My heart beat fast. I had never shared my writing before. I liked to write in private in my room in my notebook. But something inside me said, "Try." So I took the flyer. I went home and opened my old journal. I found a short poem I wrote the day after Adam left. It was full of pain, but also hope. I changed a few lines. I read it out loud. My voice shook, but I kept reading. I decided to sign up. The night came. I wore a simple dress and tied my hair back. The poetry night was at a small cafe. People sat on soft chairs. There were candles on each table. It felt warm and quiet. My hands were cold, but my heart was ready. I waited for my turn. My name was called. I walked to the small stage. I saw many faces, but I didn't look at them. I looked at my paper. Then I read my poem. My voice was soft but clear. Every word came from my heart. When I finished, the room was silent for a moment. Then people clapped. Some even stood up. I saw one woman wiping her eyes. A man near the door smiled and gave me a small nod. I felt tears in my own eyes, but this time they were happy tears. After the event, people came to talk to me. They said the poem touched their hearts. One woman said, "I felt that I was you once. I felt seen. I felt heard." For the first time, I felt proud of my pain. It had become something beautiful. That night, I could not sleep. I kept thinking about the people, the claps, the kind words. I wrote in my journal again. I wrote a new poem, not about loss, but about healing. I felt something change inside me, like a small flower starting to grow. A week later, I got a message from the cafe. They asked if I wanted to read again. I said yes. This time, I felt calm. I even smiled on the way there. I read 2 new poems. After the show, a man came to me and said, "You write from the heart, don't stop." His name was Daniel. He had dark curly hair and soft eyes. He said he liked writing, too. We talked for a long time. He told me he wrote songs. He played guitar. He said music helped him through hard times. I understood that feeling. We didn't talk about love or pain that night. We talked about books, favorite movies, and childhood memories. It felt easy. It felt light. When I went home, I smiled the whole walk. I didn't know what it meant, but I knew it felt good. Daniel came to the next poetry night, too. He sat in the front row. After the event, he said, I wrote something, too. He read a short song to me right there on the sidewalk. It was about growing stronger after falling. I listened closely. I felt every word. We started meeting often. Sometimes at the cafe, sometimes at the park. We didn't call it dating. It was too soon for that. I still felt unsure. My heart had been broken once. I was afraid to open it again. But Daniel never pushed. He just showed up. He brought me books. He shared his music. He asked about my poems. He listened. He didn't talk too much. He didn't try to fix me. He just sat beside me. I told him about Adam one day. He didn't say much. Just held my hand and said, you didn't deserve that. That night I cried again. But not because I was sad. I cried because someone finally saw my pain and didn't run away. I cried because I felt safe. Weeks passed. My laughter came back. I smiled more. I wrote more. My poems became brighter. My world became bigger. I started to believe in myself again. I even sent one of my poems to a Sna magazine. They said they wanted to publish it. I told Daniel. He hugged me and said I knew they would love it. His words felt warm like sunlight on my skin. One afternoon, I walked past the place where Adam first gave me my pen. The library was quiet. I stood there for a moment. I thought about him. I thought about the girl he chose. I felt no anger. I felt no sadness, just peace. I whispered, thank you. Not because he loved me, but because he left. Because of him, I found my voice. Because of that heartbreak, I found my strength. I found poetry. I found Daniel. I found me. That evening, I met Daniel at the cafe. He had a guitar with him. He played a new song. It was slow and sweet. When he finished, he looked at me and said, this one is for you. My eyes filled with tears. Why? I asked. He smiled. Because you showed me how to feel again. I didn't answer. I just held his hand. My heart still remembers Adam, but it doesn't hurt anymore. He was my first love, and that love did not last, but it opened the door to something better. A love that feels like healing, a love that feels like home. Daniel and I continued to grow close. We didn't rush. We took slow steps. Some days we walked in silence. Some days we shared our deepest thoughts. I told him things I never told anyone. He listened, always with gentle eyes. He made me feel safe, not small. He made me feel like I mattered. One evening, we sat on a bench by the lake. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and pink. He looked at me and said, do you believe in second love? I thought for a moment. Then I said, yes, I think I'm living it. He smiled and touched my hand. We didn't say more. We just watched the water move. Life was peaceful. My heart no longer carried the same weight. I still had memories of Adam. I still remembered the pain, but I did not live inside that pain anymore. I had new memories now, softer ones, happier. Once, I was not the same girl who cried in her pillow every night. I was stronger now. One morning, I got an email. The magazine had published my poem. My name was there, printed for the world to see. I held the paper in my hands and cried, but these were not sad tears. They were tears of pride. I showed it to Daniel. He hugged me and said, you're a real writer now. I smiled and said, maybe. That weekend, I read the poem at the cafe. The room was full. Some people even stood in the back. After I finished, someone came to me and said, your words helped me. Thank you. That moment stayed in my heart. Later that night, Daniel and I sat at the same table we always did. I looked at him and said, I never thought life could feel like this. He asked, like what? I said, like peace, like something soft. He nodded. Me too. We didn't talk about love much. We didn't need to. It was there in every moment, in the way he remembered my favorite tea, in the way he sent me a message. When it rained, just to say stay warm. That was love, quiet, gentle love, a different love, a lasting love. One afternoon, Sarah and I had coffee together. She asked, "Do you think you'll see Adam again?" I thought for a moment, maybe. I said, "But I don't think it would matter." She smiled. "You've really changed." I nodded. I had to. A few weeks later, something strange happened. I got a message. It was from Adam. I hadn't heard from him in over a year. His message was short. "Hi, Mia, I hope you're okay. I think about you sometimes." I stared at the screen. My heart didn't race. My hands didn't shake. I just felt nothing. I showed Daniel. He read the message and looked at me. "Do you want to reply?" He asked. I thought about it. Then I said, "No, I don't need to." He didn't ask again. He just nodded. I did not reply. To Adam, there was nothing left to say. I didn't need answers. I didn't need to hear sorry. I had already healed. I didn't need him to look back. I was already moving forward. 1 month later, Daniel had some news. He got a job offer in another city. He was excited but nervous. "I don't want to lose what we have," he said. My heart felt tight. I didn't want him to go, but I also wanted him to follow his dream. "What should we do?" he asked. I took his hand. "We stay strong. We try. We keep this." He looked at me with soft eyes. "You'd wait for me." I smiled. "I'd write for you every day." So Daniel moved. It wasn't easy. The days felt longer without him, but we talked often. We sent letters. He sent songs. I sent poems. We visited each other once a month. Each visit felt like a small gift. During that time, I wrote more. I shared more poems. I even spoke at a school about writing and heartbreak. I told the students, pain is heavy, but if you write it down, it becomes a little lighter. They clapped. Some even cried. After 6 months, Daniel came back. He found a new job in my town. One evening, we walked by the lake again. The same place where we once sat in silence. He stopped walking. He reached into his coat. He pulled out a small box. My heart beat fast. He opened it. Inside was a simple silver ring. He looked into my eyes and said, "You were right. First love doesn't always last. But this love is real. Will you stay with me?" I didn't cry. I just smiled. "Yes," I said. "I will." We didn't plan a big wedding. We didn't rush. We moved in together. We shared our days. We built a small life. A life full of books, music, tea, and love. I still wrote poems. Some were about Adam, but most were about healing, about light. But the second love, the love that didn't break me, the love that helped me grow. Sometimes I think of the girl I was at 19, the girl with a broken heart and wet pillows. I want to hold her hand and say, "It gets better. You will smile again. You will love again. You will be okay." Because now I know first love doesn't always last. But that doesn't mean the story ends. Sometimes the best love comes after the tears. Sometimes it starts with heartbreak. And sometimes when you least expect it, it becomes something beautiful. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon.